Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going on a little adventure. Currently staying in LA for the weekend and I want to check out a few things while I'm here. One of the things being the Getty Museum. I have always wanted to go there and I want to see what type of art pieces they have and exhibits they have and check out the gardens too. I know they have a garden area as well. I know it's going to be super hot, so we'll manage that. That's why we're going super early in the morning. And then I am also wanting to check out this cool, like, antique store is what I'm going to call it. But it also has some really neat things in there, according to a lot of videos that I've seen on it, like props or displays, and a lot of things that may pertain to the Halloween season. And then if there's anything else that I find is cool, I may also include it in this video as well. So we are going to have a fun day, and I hope you guys enjoy this vlog. So we decided to stop at Blackcraft Coffee before our planned activities for the day, and this coffee shop had that witchy dark aesthetic that I have been longing for in this 100-degree heat that we've been experiencing. This is in LA, and they had the most delicious matcha. I added lavender in it and it was so good. They also had an apparel section in the back of the store where they sold t-shirts that had like witches and different goth style artwork and coffee beans with different witchy goth aesthetic is what I'm gonna call it. They just had a variety of different options there. They also had coffee mugs and sweaters, so that was a nice addition to the coffee shop itself. They also had a photo booth where you could take photos, and then more apparel on another wall of this little room. And a lot of this apparel was speaking to me, especially that one. And I also loved this Salem one with the witch house on it. That cat bag of beans was cute too. So I loved this little niche coffee shop. We are here at the Getty, and the tram ride was really fun because you got to see all the neighborhoods surrounding the Getty Museum and all the big houses. Unfortunately, I did not film that part of it just because the tram was very crammed and I couldn't move. So our first stop of the museum is actually going to be outside, and that is the gardens of the Getty. They have gardens that you can see, and it is very pretty and set up very nicely. I love the water streaming down the hill. They also have this big pond water feature in the center. It's kind of like a half circle that you can walk around it. A little bit of a little mazy, but they did provide umbrellas that you can utilize and block the sun out. But they had a variety of different flowers and plants that I really enjoyed. It was very peaceful and serene. There wasn't too many people in the gardens, which I don't blame them because it was hot, but I thought it was one of the first stops that we should do in this itinerary. The goal in the Getty was to kind of find spooky artwork, and this one was called The Battle of the Bones, and it was a really nice piece. This isn't a spooky painting, but it was really large, and I wanted to see how big it was compared to myself. I found another spooky piece of art called A Walk at Dusk. It was so cool. This piece of art was just funny. And they had these French styled rooms that had a bunch of French pieces in it. I saw something similar to this when I went to the Met Museum, and I really enjoy seeing all those pieces. This was a very large painting of, I believe, one of the King Louis. I don't know which one, I can't remember, but it was huge. And I loved this French style room. I love that French blue color with the gold. I really enjoy seeing this stuff. It's my favorite. and of course a cat sculpture because I have 5 cats. For lunch, we went to Mel's Drive-In. It was iconic, and I got the Hollywood burger, of course, and it was delicious. We have arrived at Wunderkammer, the store I've been waiting for all day. When you walk in, you see this giant Frankenstein. He is over 6 feet tall. Then you also see this whole futuristic kind of, I don't know, 1950s, 60s, like UFO rocket setup. It was a very unique display. It was one of my favorites of the whole store. I loved the floating UFO in the booth. I wasn't sure if anything was for sale, but I didn't really go back behind the display. I wasn't sure if we were allowed to, but I thought this was unique. Then you're also greeted by this whole section with religious crosses and figures. I don't even know who all these people are, but there's a bunch of really interesting items in this section here. So it was really interesting to see this area as well. And it's also right when you walk in. They had this book set up there with some photos and just a lot of figurines, crosses. I think this is like a Catholic thing. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with it, but I have seen it in churches. So they have that and angels and everything in this booth. So it was a lot of stuff in this area right when you walk in. Also, when you walk in, you see this motorcycle and I believe this soapbox car. I don't know if it had an engine in it. And then you are also greeted by this big pink unicorn with wings. So pretty. This store was one of my favorite booths. It's not even a store, it's a booth. It's within a store. But it's one of my favorite booths, and it was decorated so nicely. I love the aesthetic of it. They had a lot of interesting items that you can get in there, and just really well done, and it was one of my favorite booths. There was also this big astronaut, which was an interesting statue, along with the Yoda statue, which might have been missing his actual lightsaber that shows. This table was also enticing to me because I really was drawn to this red clock, and then there was like a cake on this table as well that had like cigarettes in it, so it was interesting pieces on this table. This booth was one of my favorites to explore. It had this case full of really awesome items in it. I don't know if things were for sale, if they were just for display. I was trying to inquire about them, but they didn't seem like they were for sale. But they did have things for sale inside the booth. This Tiki Man was cool. And they also had a bunch of these masks, which were awesome. Like, so many, just kind of crammed in there and displayed, and I love seeing them. They were really well done masks. On the outside, they had these Wizard of Oz masks, and Those were so detailed. I mean, amazing. They also had another display that had some cool items that I really want to get for myself, so I'm going to be on the hunt for some of these items. But this overall, again, was my favorite booth. I also enjoyed this booth. They had a lot of artwork, sculpture, statues. I really fell in love with this bird cage back here in the corner. I think it would look amazing black and, decked out, make it more Halloween, put bats on it. But a lot of interesting items that you see here, and it seemed like a lot of them you could purchase. It didn't seem like there was anything off limits that was just part of the display. It seemed like everything was for sale in this section. These are pretty creepy, but also cool at the same time. There's a giant alligator on the ground, and snake, and this car. And I'm not sure who that character is, statue-wise. It might be James Bond, I don't know. They also had this, like, tricycle motorcycle is what I would call it. Pretty decked out. A giant ape statue. Not sure if he was for sale or just part of the display, but there's this giant table and pirate ships on it and pirates, and they're really detailed to look at. As you can see, they got hair and faces and outfits. I don't know what they're made out of, but the beard on the like head captain guy was interesting, as well as the monkey. Might be a taxidermy monkey, I'm not sure. He looks kind of real. But yeah, they had these detailed pirates here at the table. You can hang out with them if you wanted, and take pictures of them if you wanted, or there's a seat next to them that you can take a photo. They also had more displays behind the pirate section. I really liked this octopus. They also had this little sea section where you have the shark and myself, along with this old school, like, I guess, scuba gear, but I've seen this in Scooby-Doo. And they had this section that I believe a lot of these items were 3D printed, and I really liked this old, like, boat window, and they had, like, a display that would change all the time. These items were very unique and very interesting. A lot of the items moved, so I really enjoyed that about this display. Especially these little creatures, they were breathing. That was very, very cool. I was drawn into this booth because of this spooky witch just hanging out in the corner, and this haunted house display really inspired me. I want to make something like that. I thought that was awesome. I love how it was sitting on top of something. It looks like almost like a tree, a mountain, I don't know, but it was a cool display. Then there is me just hanging out in these chairs, relaxing. This display was really well done. I liked how they had everything decorated. I love the aesthetic of this one as well. A lot of interesting items. I believe all of these you can purchase too, it seemed like. So it seems like some one-of-a-kind items that I've never seen before too. Another favorite booth was the Velvet Apparition, and this one really put out. I love how this one was decorated. This had so many items in it, artwork, a variety of things. I felt like I was in a creepy old house. I just love how this artist displayed all their work, and a lot of the items in this one were for sale too, so that was nice to see because I really fell in love with some of these pieces. This booth had a lot of bones and fossils and displays of skulls, and it was really well done, really nicely executed. They had all these displays with skulls, basically, from animals to, I don't know if humans or whatnot. I don't even know if these were real, but they're really well done if they are replicas. But it was an interesting booth to examine and explore. I'm not sure who this character was, but I thought he was pretty cool. This next booth, you were greeted with some displays. We have the little Batmobile that probably moves if you put a quarter in it. I don't know if it works, but they had some displays right when you enter. They also had clothing and some physical media. I seen one of my favorite movies, Sucker Punch, front and center. Love that movie. But this one was nicely done too. I liked all the signage on the walls, Dairy Queen sign. I'm not sure if you can buy it, but it was displayed there and I really liked the display. On your way out, you're greeted with Bob's Big Boy statue. He's not that big, but he's there. And then an alien and looks like a Terminator. Arnold. I love this display case. They had a lot of figures that I was interested in, like that Frankenstein head, but they had the Vampira figurine, and I've never seen one before, so I'm gonna have to scour eBay and find it. This booth was walking like in a time machine. I felt like it was very nostalgic. They had a lot of physical media, but they also had like old posters and old toys and items and stuffed animals and clothing that you would have seen like in the early 90s and sometimes 80s and 2000s. It had a mixture of it, honestly, but it was a really well done booth. Their favorite booth is Memento. We're greeted by a skeleton and a coffin and a lot of taxidermy stuff within the store. They had some t-shirts, some photos you can purchase. I was really interested in getting one of the bats that were hanging on the wall in a frame. It really looks pricey, so I'm gonna wait on that, but I definitely am interested in it. But this booth was really well decorated and I enjoyed walking around it. Dad has a hanging one too. Like it's like, you know, it's like this, but it's smaller. This booth, I did not see a name for it, but this one was also a really well done booth, decorated. The floors, the wood walls, taxidermy stuff. It had a bunch of different items in this section, and it felt like you were walking in an old house as well, with the wallpaper and the furniture. And this one was one of my favorites too. I think a lot of them were my favorites, and I know I keep saying that, but you know, they all fit some of my aesthetics that I enjoy. This mini bar was so beautiful and well displayed. It was probably super expensive, but it was really nice to enjoy looking at it. That mask was cool on the wall as well, and there's just a bunch of cool items in these display cases too. So I hope you guys enjoyed the little adventure we took. We went to Blackcraft Coffee, we went to the Getty, and Wunderkammer was amazing. I definitely want to go back there and explore it some more. There was another antique shop connected to it that I did not get a chance to go to. While I was in LA, I did pick up a few items. One of them was from Blackcraft Coffee, and that was the cute Witch House Salem shirts that I was pointing out in the video. And I also went to Barnes & Noble, and this book called my name. It has a lot of costumes from way back in the day, and they're really creepy, and I love like the inside of this book. I like how it's styled, and they also just have, it's just filled with a bunch of cool pictures. So I might draw a lot of inspiration for Halloween this year from this book. So we will definitely enjoy looking over this. If you did like this vlog, please like and subscribe to my channel, and please follow me on all my social medias listed down below in the description box. And as always, thanks for watching.